Hey, this is Vic Dorfman, and in this video I'll show you how you can get a Divi button to trigger a ThriveLeads pop-up. Now, I tried to solve this problem a number of ways, and all of them were a failure, so I came up with a bit of a workaround. Now, you can see here I've got a ThriveLead group called Lightbox, and I've got display on desktop active, display on mobile active. Now, initially when I was testing this, I thought maybe it didn't work because I didn't have my targeting settings targeting the page where the pop-up is supposed to show up. But as you can see, every single page and post is selected. And furthermore, if I go and edit the form that I've created and I set the trigger to displays on click, you can see that I've got a class here. And this is the class of the button, of this button down here, and I've tried also setting a separate class here and then adding that class to the button here, and I've tried using the ID. I've tried both. I also tried because I read online in a few places that if you have just the hash mark here in the button link URL, that it won't work, like you need a hash button plus some text. So I tried that. I tried all of the combinations. Nothing worked. And probably there's a way to make it work using some custom code or something. But I figured, you know what? I don't have time to try to figure it out because I suck at coding stuff anyway. So why don't I just come up with some sort of a creative workaround? And that's what I did. And that's what I'm going to show you. Now, the way that I made this workaround is I saved the template of this lightbox that I created into the ThriveLeads library, and I did that so that I could create a two-step checkout down here, or a ThriveBox as it's called. Okay, so this is the same exact form, but it's in this ThriveBox format. So I'm going to copy this shortcode. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this button that I created, and I'm just going to create a text element right above it. So I've already got my text element, and let's go ahead and edit it. Now you can see I've already got the shortcode here, the two-step shortcode here, and it says join the class, which is the same text which I have here. Now all I have to do is make it look like this button. And so that's the workaround. We're basically not using the real button element. We're going to use the text element, but we're going to style that element so that it looks and feels almost exactly like the button. So first things first, we have to set the background color to match the button. Okay, but now you can see that it's taking up the entire row here, so we need to shrink it down in width. And we do that by manipulating the max width. You can see that it's not aligned to the center, so now we're going to align it to the center and keep playing with the width until it's about the size of the button. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's fine right there. And we also want to set the height to roughly match the button. Now the height kind of mins out or maxes out at the minimum end of the spectrum at 100 px, so we're going to set it manually to 65 pixels, which is about the height that we want. Okay. Now we are going to add some border styling and get it nice and rounded, maybe get it about 10 pixels round. Should be about the same that we've got there. Okay, I'm going to do a solid border 2 pixels wide, white. Okay, which is about the same look and feel that we get when we hover onto this button. Cool. Now that you can see the text is kind of messed up, so let's go back to the text and let's design it. First of all, let's go ahead and place it in the middle. Align it in the middle, in the center. Now let's make it white, and let's make it bigger. So it looks about the same as our other button. Okay, that's a bit bigger, but that's fine. Now we have to manipulate this line height, make it a bit higher, and you can see that drags the text down a bit. We could even set it to 1.9, I think. I'll set it to 1.8, I think. Okay, and we'll make the text just a bit smaller so that it centers vertically, more or less. More or less. Not perfect, but pretty good. Okie dokie, so that's pretty much what we wanted to achieve. Now we obviously need to make sure that we've got the shortcode in here, otherwise it won't trigger the lightbox. Okay, we also probably want to check it on tablet and mobile to make sure it doesn't look jacked up on another device. Okay, it does look a bit bad on the tablet, so we're gonna go ahead and change the sizing on the tablet here. I think we could do that, right? Sizing. Here we go. Okay, so max width for the tablet is going to be there. Okay, and for mobile, let's see what that looks like. We're going to make it a bit wider as well. And we're good to go on mobile. And obviously if you want to add some kind of an icon, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to grab an emoji maybe, because emojis are cool, and for some reason people really like them. So I'm just going to grab a little finger pointing emoji and going to stick it in front of that text to make it more of a call to action. Now I'm pretty sure too we can add a hover effect to that element, which would make it essentially the same as a button, if I'm not mistaken. So okay, so here's our pointy finger. We're going to copy it, and we're going to add it to our text. Actually, let's go back to the content, text, and you can add it in the standard text editor. It doesn't have to be in the visual editor. It could be in the standard editor just fine. Okay, now while that is thinking, why don't we try to add some sort of an effect. Okay, let's see what we've got. Transform. Okay, that's not what we need. Filters, that's not what we need either. Animation. Actually, if I remember correctly, we can do the effects here. Aha, cool. So what we could do is we could say on hover, we'll change the background from blue to, I don't know, purple. That's kind of ugly, but okay, we'll say blue, and for hover we'll make it like a lighter blue maybe. I'll make it like or a darker blue. There we go. We just want to give the clicker the idea that it's like kind of a button scenario or situation. Okie dokie. And I hope that text stays on the hover effect. Might have disappeared because of the emoji. But okay, let's save it and let's actually see how it looks on the live page. Okay. Obviously this is not ideal because it's a bunch of work. And obviously, well, too, also you only really need to do it once, and then you could just save this element to your Divi library. So now we've got our button. If I click it, there is our opt-in form, which means that I can delete this button, no longer needed. And I could even add like an animation or something, but I think you get the idea, I think you get the point, and hopefully this was a useful tutorial. Took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to sort of come up with this solution. I probably should have thought about how to do it in a non-programmer way to begin with, but whatever, it is what it is. So if you like it, let me know. Add a comment. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll come around and lend a hand.